Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a river flowing through a valley. Its waters, unhurried and deliberate, carve their path without force. It neither clings to the rocks nor demands their movement. It simply flows, and in doing so shapes the world around it. This is the essence of life, a lesson in allowing rather than chasing. When someone ignores you, the instinct may arise to chase, to demand attention, or to pull them into your orbit. But consider this: what does the act of chasing truly yield? Is it connection or is it resistance? To chase is to run against the current of life, to grasp at something that eludes you not because it is destined to be yours, but because it is teaching you to let go. Let us first reflect on self-worth. Your value is not diminished by someone's inability to acknowledge it. A diamond remains a diamond even if it is cast aside in ignorance. Recognize this truth: your worth is inherent. It is not a product of external validation, but a quiet, unshakable reality within you. When you chase, you tell the world that your value depends on something outside yourself. But when you stand firm, unshaken by indifference, you embody the quiet confidence of the river flowing, persistent and undeniable. Next, we must understand the nature of energy. Chasing is an act of force. It consumes your spirit and distorts your balance. When you chase, you invest energy into a pursuit that may never reciprocate. Instead, allow yourself to be still and watch as the right energies, the ones aligned with you, naturally gravitate toward your presence. This is the beauty of detachment. It is not apathy, but a profound trust in the unfolding of life. Detachment brings clarity. When you let go of the need to control outcomes, the fog of desire lifts, and you begin to see things as they truly are. Those who belong in your life will align with you effortlessly. They will meet you not because you chase them, but because they recognize the peace and power in your presence. Conversely, those who drift away are not a loss, but a liberation, an opening for something greater. Consider also the principle of reciprocity. Healthy relationships are never one-sided. They are a dance of mutual effort, respect, and love. Chasing disrupts this balance. It turns the dance into a pursuit where one gives and the other evades. Such dynamics cannot sustain themselves. But when you stop chasing, you restore balance. You step into your own rhythm, allowing others to join you if they choose, or to leave if they must. In stepping back, you create space for growth. For yourself, yes, but also for others. Absence allows reflection. It invites those who have ignored you to reconsider, to understand the value of your presence. Or it reveals a truth that is perhaps harder to face but necessary, that their path diverges from yours. In either case, you have lost nothing, for your focus remains inward, where true growth resides. Finally, let us address the illusion of control. Chasing is born of the belief that we can force outcomes, that through persistence we can bend the will of others to match our desires. But control is a mirage. The more we grasp, the more life slips through our fingers. To let go is not to lose, it is to trust. It is to understand that what is meant for you will never require you to chase it. So, redirect your energy. Focus inward. Cultivate your own garden, and you will find that the flowers you seek are already growing there. In this state of fullness, you do not need to chase, because you realize there is nothing to chase. Life flows toward you as naturally as the river finds its way to the sea. Let them ignore you if they will. Do not chase. Instead, be the river. Flow, and trust that the current of life will carry you exactly where you are meant to be. Self-worth is independent. Self-worth is not something that can be given to you by others or measured by external factors. It is a deep, intrinsic understanding of your own value that exists independent of anyone else's opinion or validation. Too often, people tie their sense of worth to their achievements, their possessions, or the approval they receive from others. But self-worth isn't about what you do, what you have, or how others see you. It's about who you are at your core. It's a recognition of your inherent value as a human being, a value that doesn't fluctuate based on external circumstances. When self-worth is dependent on external factors, it becomes fragile. Achievements can fade, possessions can be lost, and approval from others can be fleeting. If your sense of worth is tied to these things, then your confidence and self-esteem will rise and fall with every success or failure, every gain or loss. True self-worth, however, remains steady. It is unshaken by the highs and lows of life because it is rooted in something deeper. It is a foundation that remains firm even when everything else is uncertain. Self-worth is independent of comparison. In a world filled with social media and constant exposure to others' lives, it's easy to fall into the trap of comparing yourself to others. But comparison is the thief of joy and the destroyer of self-worth. Your value isn't diminished because someone else is successful, attractive, or talented. Self-worth comes from recognizing that you are enough exactly as you are, without needing to measure yourself against anyone else. It is understanding that your journey is uniquely your own and that your value isn't defined by how you stack up against others. Self-worth doesn't rely on external validation. While it's natural to seek recognition and appreciation, true self-worth isn't contingent on receiving it. When you rely on others to validate your worth, you give them power over how you see yourself. But when your self-worth is independent, you don't need anyone else's approval to feel good about yourself. You trust your own judgment, value your own opinions, and stand firm in your sense of self, regardless of what others think or say. This independence frees you from the constant need for external affirmation. Self-worth is independent of perfection. Many people believe they must be flawless to be worthy, but this couldn't be further from the truth. Your worth isn't determined by how perfectly you perform or how free you are from mistakes. It's about embracing your imperfections, owning your flaws, and recognizing that you are still deserving of love, respect, and kindness. Perfection is an impossible standard, and tying your worth to it will only lead to frustration and self-doubt. Self-worth comes from accepting yourself as you are, not as you think you should be. Self-worth is not dependent on your productivity or accomplishments. Society often glorifies busyness and achievement, leading many to believe that their value is tied to how much they do or how successful they are. But self-worth isn't about ticking boxes or reaching milestones. It's about knowing that you are valuable simply because you exist. Your worth isn't something you earn through hard work or success, it's something you carry with you at all times. When you understand this, you can pursue your goals with passion and purpose, rather than out of a need to prove your value. Self-worth is independent of relationships. While relationships can bring joy, support, and companionship, your sense of worth doesn't come from being loved by others. It's easy to fall into the trap of seeking validation through relationships, believing that being loved or desired makes you worthy. But self-worth is about loving yourself first. It's about knowing that you are complete and whole on your own. When your self-worth is independent, you can enter relationships from a place of confidence and authenticity, rather than seeking someone else to fill a void or define your value. Self-worth is independent of criticism and judgment. No matter what you do, there will always be people who criticize or judge you. If your sense of worth is tied to their opinions, you'll constantly be at their mercy. True self-worth allows you to hear criticism without internalizing it. It helps you separate constructive feedback from harmful negativity and lets you move forward without being weighed down by others' judgment. When your self-worth is independent, you're able to stay true to yourself, even in the face of criticism. Self-worth isn't tied to your past. Many people carry guilt, shame, or regret over past mistakes, allowing those experiences to define their sense of worth. But self-worth is about recognizing that you are not your past. You are not defined by the things you've done or the things that have happened to you. Self-worth is about growth, about recognizing your ability to learn, change, and move forward. It's about understanding that your value isn't diminished by your struggles or your failures. Self-worth is independent of societal expectations. Society often imposes rigid standards of beauty, success, and behavior, creating pressure to conform. But self-worth is about rejecting these arbitrary standards and embracing your authentic self. It's about recognizing that you don't have to fit into anyone else's mold to be valuable. Your worth isn't determined by how well you meet society's expectations. It's determined by how true you are to yourself. When your self-worth is independent, you're free to live life on your own terms, unapologetically and authentically. Self-worth is a shield against fear and doubt. When you know your worth, you're less likely to be held back by fear of failure, rejection, or judgment. You understand that your value isn't diminished by setbacks or mistakes, which gives you the courage to take risks and pursue your goals. Self-worth is the foundation of confidence, allowing you to trust yourself and your abilities, even when the outcome is uncertain. It's what helps you keep moving forward, no matter how many times you stumble. Self-worth is the root of self-respect. When you value yourself, you set boundaries, prioritize your well-being, and refuse to settle for less than you deserve. Self-worth empowers you to demand respect from others because you respect yourself first. It helps you walk away from situations, people, or opportunities that don't align with your values or honor your worth. This sense of self-respect creates a life that reflects your true value, built on choices that honor who you are and what you stand for.